the night, may your fury be crossed. May no one who's dear to our island be lost. Blow the wind lightly, calm be the foam. Shine the light brightly to guide them all home. Hear the wind blow, hear the wind blow. Lean your head on and hear the wind blow. The rocks are sailing way out on the blue, chasing the herring of silvery hue. Silver the herring and silver the sea. Soon there'll be silver for baby and me. Hear the wind blow, hear the wind blow. Hang your head on and hear the wind blow. The Caracks tomorrow will stand on the shore, and Daddy'll go sailing, a-sailing no more. The nets will be drying, the nets have been blessed, and safe in my arms, dear, contented he'll rest. Hear the wind blow, hear the wind blow. Lay your head on and hear the wind blow. Hear the wind blow, hear the wind blow. Lay your head on and hear the wind blow.
There's no doubt how I got better, is there? Sonja Livingston's here somewhere, isn't she? AWP award-winning author of Ghost Bread.
Brought my own microphone holder, so you can have a break.
Can I introduce your microphone holder?
Yeah.
This is the author, too, of In Jupiter's Shadow. This is Greg Girard.
You're such a good promoter.
As much as we all love Elizabeth and I love her, I wish I could conjure a brogue to show you that love, but I can't. So as you listen, maybe you can conjure it. August 1884. Mary pulled her light brown hair back and tied it with a blue ribbon to match her best and only dress, the blue one. She had washed and pressed it and polished her shoes. She was almost ready. She pinched her cheeks to give them a bit of color. She and Tims would venture off to the Lunasa Festival bonfire, up on the ridge in the Voghera Mountains. They would take the pony and trap, with instructions to be back before midnight. Though Mary and Tims both invited her to go with them, Julia declined. Mary had always dreamt of attending the Lunasa bonfire, part of the festival of the Celtic god Lu that marked the time when corn was ripe and calves and lambs had been weaned. She would dance and dance until her head spun. She had talked after Mass with Nora Carroll, Dennis and Eileen's daughter. Mary knew that Tims was sweet on Nora, who had her father's thick black curly hair and blue eyes. The two girls plotted and schemed to have Tims accompany Mary to the festival where she, because of the custom, couldn't attend alone. Nora was pleased. Within the church, there was growing condemnation of the Celtic rituals of the past. Many were seen as pagan, filled with sexual overtones, and all were closely monitored by the church. The bonfires had survived thus far. Jeremiah and Margaret, their childhood steeped in these rituals, saw little harm in the children attending. They hoped it might be good for Mary, who would be in need of memory soon. Mary would emigrate next spring. She had planned it for over a year. The decision finalized when Michael's letter arrived, telling of Father John Joseph's upcoming visit. "It's time to let her go, Jer," Margaret said as they sat finishing their tea one fall afternoon, the harvest in, the day mild. "You must see that. She's all of a woman now, and with no future here." She reached over and put her hand on his as she continued. You know it yourself, she said plaintively. Look around ye. What is there here for her? Tell me that. What image do you see of her in 5 years, in 10? She's almost 20 years old, Jer, and she's alive. Don't take her spirit. Jeremiah stood and went to the hearth. Margaret ran her fingers through her hair, as she often did when she felt agitated. She stood and walked toward him. I'm telling you what I know of the child. She knows there's barely enough money for us. She hears your sighs when the rent is due. She sees your distress when you come home from market day. She knows. And she's determined to find her fortune in America and send some of that fortune home to us. Let her have her dream. Let us have our goodbye. Jeremiah turned to her, the reflection of the embers in his eyes. I lost my first girl. I'll not lose another, he said, holding her gaze. They were alone. Jerry, Lizzie, Maggie, and Michael in school. Mary, Julia, and Tim's off doing chores. Margaret looked into his eyes with fire in her own. Her voice broke as she cried out. She was my first girl as well. I know the horror of it. You needn't tell me that. And I know the heartache I'm recommending now won't end when this Mary of ours leaves. We'll have Julia and Maggie for whatever time we can keep them, and then little Lizzie. But now it is time for our Mary to go. She'll win her way, and we'll have Father John to look out for her. She stood next to him at the hearth, trembling. Jeremiah returned the kettle to the hook over the embers and stared. Margaret put her hand again on his. Her voice calm, she spoke. We have to let her go, Jer. Would you rather she sneak out in the night, leaving no chance to wrap her in our arms one more time? Would you rather that she sneak away without knowing your tears of sorrow? Would you rather lose her while she lives right here, all spirit and joy taken from her? Is that what you want? For I'm telling you that's what you'll get. He turned again to face her, his face twisted and full of fear. He took a step back and raged. You're mad to think this child should be going on to America. Bloody mad. What have they in America but crime and confusion? Have you not read Michael's accounts? He crossed from her toward the door and spun about again. There is worse poverty there than anything we've been put to. It's fine that Father John will be there to help, but he can't be everywhere. What is this obsession with America? Margaret paused, her breathing shallow, her face and neck warm from her anger. She stopped pleading and sat down at the table, her blue eyes staring at Jeremiah. Her tears came silently. Seconds later, Jeremiah grabbed his cap and went out the door.